Well, this afternoon we have Mr. Fred Reece here to talk to us. We're recording on behalf of the Lightning Ridge Historical Society, and Fred's been here for many, many years. Fred, when, in fact, did you come to Lightning Ridge?
Oh, I've been here before the field was started.
Really? Really?
Well, you see, this started in 1903.
Right. That was with Charlie Nettleton. Do you remember any of those old miners?
I remember his name, but I never met the man that I can remember.
Right. And
you see, I was only young too, you see.
Right. Where were you born?
Bangor Station.
Whereabouts is that?
Bangor is between here and Cadogan, somewhere about half away.
Oh, so that's pretty close to the
my
ridge.
mother's buried there.
Really?
And I'm going to be buried there. I've got everything ready because I've got no people to do these things for me when I'm gone.
Right.
So I put up the first fence there around my mother. What had happened, the Bangor Station was a station belonged to a man named Parker, one as far as I can remember back. Langlow Parker. He owned Bangor, and then he got borrowing money off Jimmy Tyson. Jimmy Tyson was supposed to be the first millionaire in Australia.
Did he make his money from the land? From working the land? Did he?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh.
He like amongst the stocks. And he borrowed money off Jimmy Tyson to that extent that he couldn't pay it back. But why he did this, they come from Adelaide in the first place, him and his wife, Mrs. Parker. Katie was her maiden name. I know her. I used to take her out. She used to muster up us boys. I was a little bit bigger than you fella there.
Mm-hmm.
Run about in my shirt tail. And she'd muster up when she felt in a good humour. Take her out for a walk, and we'd fetch her this way, coming towards the ridge like. See, we're right on the ridge road from Cadoga.
Was there anything at the ridge then? The ridge was just not here at all then?
No. Oh no, there was no ridge then.
Right. Uh-huh.
Oh no. But there was some funny stones, like potch, I suppose, but we didn't know what it was.
Well, you actually found this around the area, did you? You found potch, did you?
No,
someone had shown you, have they?
But you could see it there, though, where they had their quarry.
Oh, I see.
They had a quarry not far away for getting stones and one thing or other, sandstone, like, for making different things. And through the sandstone you could see streaks of potch, like, see? So
it's on the cards that was how the opal was first found?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't found there, it was found here.
Mm-hmm.
It was found, the first saleable opal, well, I don't know whether it's right or not, but Bert Beckett told me, and George Beckett was the oldest Beckett boy. There was 8 of them, and there's not one had ear for music, you know what I mean? They couldn't whistle a tune or anything like that. And Mrs. Beckett was a servant girl at Dunglear Station. And Joe Beckett, her husband, he was a fencer on the station when she came there. And Joe Beckett and Billy Wheats, a man named Billy Wheats, he had the Bowen Inn Hotel.
Right.
The Wheat boys are there yet.
Really?
Yeah,
Still
they're there yet.
Still there. Well, you've just come back from having a birthday party today. Now, may I ask how old you are? Would it be? Would I be imposing if I asked how old you are?
You don't know my age?
No, I don't know.
I thought Leonard would tell you that. I'm 92.
Really?
92.
You're fantastic for that age.
Yes,
really
but you see, I don't talk like an old man.
Well, you've obviously... No, that's right. You surprise me.
Yeah, I don't talk like an old man at all. You just listen to my voice like... If we get on and listen to it with machine, you'll be able to listen to it, I suppose, and you won't reckon that I'm 92 when you hear me talking.
Right, you're fantastic for your age.
Yeah, well, you see, even to look at me, I don't look. Now, there was a boy come here today, a dark boy. He wanted to see if camp oven for sale. Yeah, some of these kiddies broke his camp oven and they had things to buy. But anyhow, we didn't have any. Now, I know that boy when he was born. We were sitting down just down there, and him and his missus, they come out from Walgett. And he's old and thin, and I could hardly hear him speak, you know.
Well, why do you think that you've survived so well? Did you have a good life?
Well, I've been hard work. I've been a blacksmith.
Right.
I've been a blacksmith. That's one of the hardest works you can take on.
I reckon it would have been, yeah.
And I've been an axeman. I've been wood chopping contract, taking on big contracts.
What were you felling that for? What were you felling the wood for?
No, I don't sell it at all because I'm on a station. They want the wood and they pay you so much a cord to cut it.
Right, right.
Cut it and stack it so they can measure it.
Right.
See, an 8 by 4 by 4 is one cord.
What did they use the wood for? The timber? Building?
No, cooking is a big station, you see.
Oh, I see.
You're doing this at big stations.
Right, right.
Then the big steam engine to run in the shearing time.
Right.
It takes a lot of wood.
Right.
And
when you finished cutting the wood, what did you do after that?
I go on either a stockman or a blacksmith or carpenter. I'm a builder. I'm a cook. I'm a shearer's cook. I can turn my hand to anything.
That's terrific.
I've cooked for 26 men on my own, and for a fortnight and 3 days.
Really?
It wasn't because I was mean. I had a man coming from Wellington. He promised me that he'd come out to offside for me, and he never turned up. And when he wanted to turn up, I said, no, I can manage it myself now because I was halfway through the job. And so I cooked on a place called Ben Buckley.
Where's Ben Buckley?
Ben Buckley is on the banks of the Cudgegong River.
Mm-hmm.
Cudgegong River is down a little town called Goulma. Goulma. There's only pub, store, baker, or it might be a couple of private houses. Now that baker used to fetch my bread 10 miles. He used to go with a little horse-drawn cart. He brought my bread to my hut, and that wasn't his destination either. He had to go on. He went on further than where I was cooking.
Did he really?
Yeah.
And tell me, did you do any mining?
Yes, I did do mining.
How did you go?
Well, the mining days was no good to me when this started because I could make more money on a station than I was sure of it.
Right, right.
But this Opal wasn't sure at all.
that's right.
And my son, he's in the nursing home in Dubbo now.
Mm-hmm.
He's had 4 strokes. I go down and see him occasionally. I see that he don't want anything. Like he's all got money and plenty of clothes and all this sort of business.
Mm-hmm.
But he's all paralysed on one side.
Oh, that's no good. Did he have an accident or something? Or...
Stroke.
Oh, stroke.
He
sorry.
had 4
yeah,
strokes.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's no good.
See, and we couldn't handle him because he's a pretty big man. Weighs about 13 stone, see?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a big man to handle, see, and his missus is on a little woman.
Well, what sort of work did he do?
Shearer.
He's a shearer.
Shearer.
And the rest of your family?
Hmm?
What about the rest of your family?
The rest of my family, I got no more. I only had one son,
right.
one brother,
Right.
one sister.
What about your parents? Where did they come from?
My parents, my father was a white man.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a full blood.
Right. Right.
See, I suppose you know that. The Aboriginal is the easiest people to bring back into white.
Right.
Although he's black as a charcoal.
Yeah.
It only takes three generations.
Right.
See, first of all, you get a half caste, a white man and a black woman.
Right.
Then you get a quarter caste, 3/4 caste. And the next one is a genuine white man.
Well, your mother, she was a full black, was she?
Yes.
Where did she come from, do you know?
Now you're popping a question to me. I was too young.
Yeah, right.
And but them people, like my mother, she was the last people that hasn't got a name.
Right.
They never named them. They had no name for their kiddies.
Ah.
See, they had what they call, I don't know how to explain it in English, but they're now in the men, they're Murray, Ibai, Gumbo, and Gubby. They use a lot of black names, Cubby, Cumbo. You speak in different places. They name Jackie Cumbo or Ned Cumbo or some of them like that. But it's white man's name though. It's not black, you see.
Right.
See, and they always bring it back to them four, and then they got the women, Martha, Ibada, Buddha, and Gabada. There's four in them.
Right.
And that's how they call their kids. They call them by that, you see.
I see.
Yeah, if there's a Gabada, they sing out Gabada, and the big one coming, they say, no, Bajandul. Bajandul is the smaller one.
Smaller one. Ah.
And the little one will come. Well, that's us.
Do you remember in those days when you were a boy, were there a lot of Aboriginal people around these areas? There were lots.
I've seen the wild ones.
Right.
See, my grandfather and my grandmother, they were in the wild mob.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they couldn't speak English, you know. See?
And
just enough. See, now they called my grandfather, a white man named, they called him Dumble Billy.
right.
Dumble's a station out of Cadouga. You can see it from the town. You can see Dumble down the river. It's an open country, Cadouga, and you can see Dumble.
Really?
It's not a mile away from the town. And they call him Dumble Billy because he used to work there, see?
Oh, I see.
And the boss used to make him understand in his way, like, to make him understand what he wanted him to do.
Right.
And they made him a king. They got a Dumble Billy, the king of the Bucara tribe, on the brass plate there, the government.
Oh, I've heard.
The
Yes,
government
yes.
give him.
Right, right.
Yeah. Oh, they thought they was a king. They thought they were a genuine king. Yeah.
So
Poor old fella. Well, they were belong to the wild mob.
right.
But there are plenty of them behind them again, you see. There's plenty of them at that time.
The time. Right.
But they're all gone now. I've seen them come and go.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Aborigine people are a wandering people, aren't they? Whereabouts would they have wandered around here? Would they have moved up and down the rivers?
Well, they no, they didn't go far away from the Cowrie, as the saying is. That's why they got every decent water hole from the Bowen to the Culgo. They got them named.
Right.
They got a name for every decent water hole that holds water after rain, you know, see?
Right.
For a month or so. Well, now this the Lightning Ridge. That's the proper Lightning Ridge. I was told by a man that should know. He told me the proper Lightning Ridge is the little island ridge. Since they put the bitumen here, they made the road right through it. They cut it.
Oh,
Do you know where it is? Let it down along.
Yeah, down off the 4 mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was out on
That's the proper Lightning Ridge.
Really.
So I was told.
The story goes that some sheep were
They were struck there.
Struck by lightning. Is that right?
Well, I've seen. Yeah. Well, no, I can tell you this. I've seen the break at night time. There was always a big break there on the fence. On account of the high ground, you see, in wet weather, when there's travelling sheep coming along, well, that's on a bit of high ground they was for them to camp on. And don't forget it, I got caught there once. I was taking spare horses for the manager of Bangor. The train was at Cryon then, no further. But it was going on though, and I had to take the spare horses and drop them at Dungalia, Dungalia station. And a big storm come up and caught me there, just as I was coming to that bridge. But the road was a bit away in the timber there, way off the fence. But I knew all about the break being there, see? And anyhow, I could see there was somebody there. They drove it just coming. They had no stock. They're coming back after delivering stock. And anyhow, they advised me to camp with them. See, they said, camp here, we'll give you some nap. And one thing, he said, you can't go because the horse can't travel. You got a long way to go yet. You know, he could walk along steady in the water, but he couldn't get no pace up.
Right.
See, he was knee deep in water all the way along the road. So I tell you, there was some rain fell.
Oh, I bet.
So I stopped with them that night, and of course the horse didn't go far. You could see him in the morning. You could pick around the edge of the water, and there's water everywhere else. They couldn't get no feed anywhere else, all water. So anyhow, I got him early in the morning. I went on to Dungalier. And what was I going to tell you then? We went in. The boss come along then a couple of days after. I had to wait there for a few days, and the road dried up so as he could come along. See, they're going to go to Sydney, so they're going to catch the train.
Right.
The boss and his family. And anyhow, when he come, the next move was we went to the 2 Mile pub.
That's 2 miles from Walgett, is it?
2 miles out from Walgett, there's a little bridge there.
Right.
Where they're stacking all the wheat and that, you know, a little bridge.
Right.
Well, there used to be a pub there. They used to call it the 2 Mile.
Yeah.
And the bar one in was down the Brewana Road, 4 miles away from the town. There were all pubs. There were a pub here at Lightning Ridge, pub at Wheatella Bar.
Where was the pub at Lightning Ridge? Whereabouts was it at Lightning Ridge? At the would it have
well, that road there.
been? By the race course.
That old road that goes that way.
Right.
Not the one the bitumen road.
Right.
Well, where it's the bitumen, you can see it goes straight on. Well, when it gets over onto the other old road, before the bitumen was down, it's only a quarter of a mile, about mightn't be a quarter. There used to be mailboxes there. Well, you keep on going, then past the mailboxes, in the corner of the lane fence. That's where you'll see broken bottles and one thing. That's where it
was. Was that known as Lightning Ridge then? Was it?
Yeah.
At that time, when was that roughly?
Lightning Ridge.
Or when the pub was there?
That pub was before my time.
Right. Before your time.
I wouldn't say altogether that it was before my time. I might have been born, but I was too young to know.
Right. Was it known as Lightning Ridge then?
Oh yeah. Yes, it was known as Lightning Ridge.
So Lightning Ridge, not a recent name. It was probably there before the miners came.
Blackfellow's name for Lightning Ridge is Barangale.
Right.
Barangale.
What does that mean?
Barangale is something torn. Torn like that.
Right.
Barangale. Oh, you've got a Tory backside pants or something. and you call that Barangale.
Right.
Yeah.
Fred, may I say here, when did the sheep get struck? In your day or before your day?
Before my time. Yes, but I was told not only by one, but by different ones that knew about it. And that's where they got struck, because there was a permanent camp from there, and it's on Little Island Ridge. You know that. It's all black ground, and likes of that rain, but caught me there. It proved what it looked like when there's heavy rain coming. See.
This motel we got over the road here, called the Wollongullah, was that named after a special tribe of Aborigines in this area at one time or not?
Wollongullah?
Yes.
Well, when I seen the name Wollongullah first, I thought he was trying to say Warrengilla. Warrengilla is Underwood's place down there. That was always Warrengilla when Denhambrel owned it. Its outstation belonged to Denhambrel. The boundary rider used to live there. The Rouses was about the last there. I think you heard of Rouse's Dickens ear?
Yes.
Well, he's a young fella, that fella. I know old Jack Rouse, his father. We took delivery. He gave us a delivery of some fat bullocks from me and George Beckett took them in to truck them at Walgett, and he gave us delivery of them.
So this name Wollongullah is not necessarily an Aboriginal tribe name.
What did he say?
Is the name Warren? He's saying that Wollongullah isn't necessarily a tribal name. The name of the motel, Wollongullah.
Warrangilla is, though.
Wollongullah is, but not
Yeah.
Wollongullah.
Well, not Wollongullah.
Not Wollongullah.
No. What's Wollongullah mean? Do you know?
Warrangilla.
Wollongullah, the motel name.
No, I don't know what that
so,
means at all.
So they've probably invented that, perhaps.
Yes,
Or it's got changed.
Yeah, it's a white man
Yeah,
name.
right.
What white man put that name there?
Right.
And what was the name of the main tribe here?
Main what?
The main tribe of people,
Oh,
Aborigine people. Do you?
Oh, there's no people here.
Originally, going back 100 years, 200 years, the name of the Aboriginal tribe in this area, for Lightning Ridge, in the Lightning Ridge area, who owned it? What tribe was the name of the tribe that owned it?
But I think you were saying early on there were
No, you
various tribes.
You see, you'd have to go to Angledool. You see, the Narran tribe, or the Bukera tribe. See, it said on my grandfather's plate, king plate, he had brass plate. He was the king of the Bukera tribe.
And that was this area.
Yeah, if you could go from, you see, they had to move. You see, Ronnie, at least, and you had to move. You see, you were like a animal. Once you got up in the morning, you had to go and look for tucker, like the birds. Some they get off the trees, the roost. They look and say tucker. Well, the Aboriginal was the same.
Same, yeah. Yeah, had to keep on the move.
Yeah, there's nobody to give them tucker. There was no white man.
Right.
Were they a big tribe or a small tribe? A big tribe?
A lot of people, you mean? Oh, yes.
You're a big man. You're a very big man.
Oh, you mean in size?
Yeah.
Oh, they were fairly big men, yeah. They were fairly big men. I can't say there was any difference, you know, to what they are to the present day.
See, you're 6 foot tall.
Yeah, I'm 6'2" in my socks.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'2". I had a cousin 6'2 and a half.
Did many of the Aboriginal people do any mining here?
No, not a lot.
Not a lot, no.
Not a lot.
I understand.
But that's what kept them away.
When the miners came in.
The help was no good. The money was no good.
Right.
The first lot. It's only since I retired that they got a big price for the opal.
Right.
I just here took the stone down belonging to Paddy O'Hara. He got it over there near my place where my home was over there. I sold it, and I built it myself. And you couldn't. You get a bit of opal, and you had to take.
You couldn't make a living out of it.
you had to take what they offer you.
Right.
You couldn't eat it,
Right.
but you had to sell it to get a bit of tucker.
Right.
You had to take what the buyers offer you.
Do
Well,
you,
he got 128 pound a carat. He got 128 pound a carat for a stone. He belonged to Paddy O'Hara, and that's the first biggest price that I heard of.
Right.
I never, nobody else heard of a price like that.
Yes, that
And
was
then
20 years ago.
That's right.
20 years ago to the month nearly.
That's right.
Really? Yeah.
That's right. And therefore it kept me away from digging.
Right.
My son got 3 named stones. He got the Fireball, he got the Rising Sun, and the Bird of Paradise. He only got a couple hundred for it and some tobacco, and one thing in the day, you couldn't buy tobacco. You weren't part of the business. You couldn't buy any cigarettes, and the buyer gave him that. But Jack Francis bought it. The postmaster here, he was a buyer too. So he gave him so many $100 for the stones and a pound of tobacco or something like that.
Right. Do you remember the first motor cars coming up here?
Well, I think I tell you what I've seen in the motor car line now you talk about it. I built the first motor garage at Bangor. It's there now. You can go and see it, inspect it. I built it and I undressed the timber. I'm a big gun with the nads. That's for quality and quantity.
Right.
Yes, I never seen the man could be a dress timber like me. Not as good as me, anyhow. And there's no skiting about it. And I can show you I can show you 4 posts that come out of my mother's graveyard. I pulled down on the school teacher here, she was American, she's not here now. She asked me, well, could she have them? She was out there with me when I pulled it down and I put an iron fence around. And that was up 53 years, that wooden yard. I hand-dressed all the timber. And she took a fancy to it when she saw it, and she said, my word, she said, I'd like to have that. I said, you can have them, I'm going to chuck them away.
Did you, do you remember the schools here? Did you go to school?
No.
You didn't go to school at
No.
all? No.
No, I'm uneducated.
Wow.
But I learned enough to read newspapers and things like that. But how I learned, but you're coming at me a bit too quick now. I'm not finishing one
Sorry,
story.
yeah.
You put me on another story altogether. But I learned off school kiddies. The boss, the manager of Bangor, he had 4 or 5 kids, and he paid an old pension of 10 bob a week, and I think the pension was 10 bob a week, and that made it a pound. He was getting the wages what a man gets for hard work. Well, these kiddies learned me out of the ABC book. They learned me the ABC and all the spelling through it, and I could read as good as they could. And they taught me.
Oh,
they gave me a start, and then what I didn't know then by reading jam tins and one thing like that or newspaper, I'd ask you or Bill or Tom. I'd say, well, what did that spell? They'd tell me.
Yeah.
Well,
now you were talking. I'm sorry to have interrupted you there. You, go back to your.
No,
your
because
timber.
you're only a learner like me.
That's right. About your dressed timber, you were telling us.
Yes. No, I'm going to school now. You put me into school.
Okay, we'll carry on with the schools.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But
yes, we can go back to the other, but it's a pity you cut me off one.
Well,
yes, and then I'll finish the school now. After I grew up a young man, there was a cook come there on the station cooking for me. I was a stockman, you see, in them days. I didn't know anything about blacksmithing in them days. And he said, when he found out that I wasn't educated, he said, look, he said, Reece, he said, you come over here and put in an hour with me every night. He said, and I'll teach you to write. So I went over to the kitchen after everything was cleared. So he gave me a start at writing, and after I was with him about a week or 3 or 4 days, he said, you can go to hell now. He said, because he said, you're a better writer than me. Yeah, that's what he told me. He said, you're all right, there's nothing wrong with your writing.
that's marvellous.
Yeah. So that's how I learned to write.
It's surprising how when you really want to do something, you can, isn't it?
Well, I want to tell you something about that too. But we've got to go back to the timber, I think, isn't it? Dressing the timber.
Right.
Well, now that I left blacksmithing there, one part of the business, and I got a job at Angledool for a while, and it didn't last very long. And
Angledool would have been pretty large then, would it? Pretty
that-
large
you
place.
see, Angledool's like Cadoo. There's a station and a town. You can see one from the other.
Right.
The Angledool station and Angledool town.
Right.
And I worked there, and I put the shears and the rouseabouts together at Angledool. The whole lot they put up in the early days. In the days when they had the dirt floor, no board floor, dirt floor in the hut, table up the centre, bunks all around, double ones, made out of 61 boards, you know, the floor.
Right.
No springs, no mattress either. You got bushes off the trees to put one on the hip or whatever you could get with the grass if there's any about, and that was your hipper. And then there was no bathrooms. There was no bathroom because there was no pumps. There was only pump. There was the little old one like you might have seen them. You just up and down like that. Well, that's all the pumps they had, and they couldn't pump water for different things. And
Did you ever have any problems with water? Did you have enough water?
oh, plenty of water for drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But the place was wild, you see, because they only just started.
Sure, sure.
See, that's the second wool shed at Bangor. That's the second wool shed been put up there in my time. And that was put up the year I was born, the one that's standing there now. It's like me, it's still standing.
Very good.
Yeah.
And where did the shearers used to travel around, did they?
Well, they carried their swags, and those couldn't fall.
Where would they come from?
They just roamed the bush.
Roam the bush, did they?
Go from station to station. They got their 8 2 1/4 rations, bit of meat, and I got a job if it was available.
Right. Would you get regular ones? Would you get guys coming through, say, 1 year and then coming back again the next year?
Oh, yes, well, they come back for the lamb marking time. They know when to come.
Right.
They come carrying their swags. There's nothing to see 4 or 5 men carrying their swag on the road. Yeah. Before you go to kill the sheep of a afternoon, you got to go down to the shearers hut and count up how many travellers camp there. So they'll have enough meat in the morning to give them.
Right.
And if there's too many there, come on, some of you beggars come down, help me kill the sheep. See, of course, every bagman could kill a sheep. I suppose they kill them for themselves too.
Right.
But
no doubt.
There was plenty about. And anyhow, they'd have to go and they'd give him a hand. And in the morning, of course, they get their hand out. And they'd have enough meat, you see, because he'd know how many to kill.
Right.
Well, that's how they carried on. And old storekeeper might be, if he's in a good humour, might give him a nugget of tobacco, you know, see? A little bit of tobacco, he cut up a full plug, perhaps, and then he sheared around. Right. And I tell you, there's no such thing as a bathroom. You had to get a bath the best way you could. If there's a river, you go and jump into it or get a bucket and chuck it over yourself.
It must have been pretty hard in the drought times.
Yes, well, everybody was used to it because they'd never seen anything better.
Yeah.
See, they're born in the bush,
Right.
and they never saw anything better.
Did they worry about supplies coming in?
Flies? No,
supplies.
not
Supplies. You know.
supplies?
Yeah.
Well,
Or did you make use
supplies you had to get from Narrabri in my time, and then the train kept crawling on, coming closer and closer. In the years, I tell you, the train didn't get to Walgett till 1908. They got to Walgett, and they was right then. Everybody could get everything pretty easy when they had the train to cart it up from Sydney. See, there was no parcel post, see?
Right.
You couldn't get anything parcel post.
Well, how would you go? How long would it take you, say, from Angledool to go down to Walgett and collect your stores? How long would that
Well,
take you?
you'd have to wait till the wagons.
Yeah, but would it take you 3 or 4 days?
Well,
or?
I was a bullock driver too. I could do that too. I broke in bullocks and drove them. It took a fortnight with a load of wool in and a bit of back loading out if I had it, if they were there.
Right.
But I got that because I was driving a station team.
How many miles, Fred?
72, I think.
Yeah,
72 or 73 miles from Bangor. But I was carting to the last time I was carting to the Scour. That took me the other side of the Walgett and where the bore is.
Yeah.
The Scour wool wash was there, belonged to Hayes Brothers from Brewarna. They had Walgett, they had Brewarna, they had Cadoga. They had three wool scours. I carted 2 of them. I carted to Cadoga and I carted to Walgett, but not to Brewarna.
Where did the wool go down the Darling on the steamer, did it?
From Brewarna?
No, from Walgett. Did it go down the Darling on the river or on the rail, the wool?
Oh, in my time it went on the train. You'd only had to wash there, see? But now it's cut out altogether, see? They don't wash the wool at all now. And they used to dump the wool too. They used to dump it, make it half the size. See, there's a dumping. There's a dump at Bangor. There was in my time when I was blacksmithing there last. You dumped it and made it half size and put the 3 steel bands around it.
Right.
And it made it half the size to go on the boat. You see, that goes straight across overseas when you see it go through the dump. And after it was pressed.
What was Walgett like? What was Walgett like? Were there a lot of people in Walgett?
No, Walgett only, you know, it grew gradually.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the flood time, when they put I think there were 11,000 there, I think. No, 11, I don't know, it'd be 11,000, wouldn't be 1,100.
11,000 is quite a lot.
No, it wouldn't be 1,100, I think.
1,100.
1,100 when they put that, what do you call them up, I was there.
Yeah, I think so.
I was working at I was building around, what do you call them, Walgathin, when with that bankman, what do you call it again, levee?
Yeah, levee, yeah,
Well,
1,100.
when I was there when that started.
Yeah, 1,100.
1,100 people.
Well, what difference did Lightning Ridge make to the area when all the miners came here? Did it change? Did the whole place change very much, or carry on much the same as usual?
Well, from nothing to what it is today. There was nothing,
no.
it was all bush.
Sure.
No house here. There was two little huts over there on the other side of this, what do you call them? The other side of this black ground here, what they call Nebia.
Yeah.
Nebia was the name of it.
Right.
A lot of them call it Ryan's Flat there. Well, them two houses, they pulled them down when they lost the country.
Mm-hmm.
There's one up not far away from his house, where he lived. There's one there. There's one over.
What's the name of your
It's
street
hard to explain where,
Aurora.
because the people that's there now, you wouldn't know them.
Hey, Fred, can you remember Nettleton's Flat, or the 3 Mile Flat, the village at the 3 Mile out on the flat? Can you remember that? Back in the 20s and before World War One? At the 3 Mile, the old post office, can you remember that at the 3 Mile?
The old post office, of course
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah?
They're running down a bit, Stumpy, Lynn.
Yeah.
The only little hut it was with the flat roof.
Uh-huh.
It was there when you was there down there.
No, it was all pulled down when I come here.
Well, it must have been just.
Just pulled down. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't there when I came. Well, that was the first post office in this area. In the Lightning Ridge
No.
area.
No.
It wasn't.
No, the post office was here, but the mail had to come through there,
Oh, I see.
but they couldn't open the bag, they couldn't drop the mail there, and they come here first, and then they go back, the road went there, that's the only road,
Yes.
not this other one.
Oh, that's a very interesting point. We always thought that the one at the 3 Mile was built before the one in town. No, this one in town was built first. The post office. In Lightning Ridge.
Yeah, well, they've been different places with the post office, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell us about the post offices in the
you
Lightning
had
Ridge.
to tell me Mrs. Bowles' house just over, just pulled down. He told me that was a post office in one part of the business.
Yes, yes.
Only for a short time, and they shifted to another house, do you see?
Yeah.
Where Bruce's live, Mrs. Campbell. She's dead now. That was one, too.
Yes,
Well, and then it was over where Dawson's store.
yes.
There were a lot of post offices here, but they had to all go through the 3 Mile, see?
Yeah.
Well, the mail comes straight on, and then on his bed, then they opened the bags here, and any mail for the 3 Mile went back, you see? That was the only road, see? Not the other one going round down Underwood's way.
So
No,
most of the
that
miners,
wasn't there.
most of the miners were living out at the 3 Mile then, were they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And how many people do you think there were around then?
How many
miners? Were there,
Oh,
hundreds?
there wasn't a lot. Not like there is now.
No.
Nothing
no.
like it. Oh, no.
Fred, was you here in the days when the graziers at Dunrabrul was trying to stop the miners and poisoning the water out there? Was you here in those days, or were you out on Bangor?
What are they doing?
Poisoning the water?
When they tried to stop the miners from working here,
Oh,
was you out at Bangor, or was you in at Lightning Ridge here?
oh no, I wouldn't be here.
You wasn't there.
No, you see, I was more time at Bangor than here.
Yeah.
See, because I worked there and I learnt all me trade sort of thing, as you say.
Yeah.
I learned to be a blacksmith, working for a good blacksmith. I soon picked it up. I could make a horseshoe as quick as they could and put it on the horses just as good as they could.
It must have been a big place, Bangor.
Oh, yeah, I used to run 100,000 sheep in Jimmy Tyson's time. 100,000. You can see the yard, the size of these yards where they put them in for the shearing, you know. It was a whopping yards. But it's not that now, though.
How many people lived out there?
To tell you the truth, the station itself had nobody. There was no jackaroos. They got their labour off the road or the Aboriginal camp, and they're no, I just off my track now.
Fred, could you tell us something about the Aborigines and their camp? Do you remember many stories about them?
Oh, their camp was only a bit of a gunya. They put it up in 5 minutes longer. They got a bit of shelter or something like that. It was nothing special. But what I was going to tell you, I was putting up a wool shed down on Burma country that they lost, like Burma lost the country, and I'm putting up for a man named Fred Caldwell. Fred Caldwell's got a block down near Cryon, and he got a make-up on Burma, and he got me to build a 4-stand shed there. So I built him a 4-stand shed, and now he's sold it. Well, while I was building the shed, just before I finished, the Bangor manager wrote to me. He knew where I was. He found out where I was. He wrote to me and asked me would I come over to Bangor to do some blacksmith work. So I wrote back to him and told him I'll be finishing a fortnight, and I'll be there to do a bit of blacksmithing. So I gets there. I think it's a weekend. I got there. I went on the mail, and Monday morning he come down. See, you don't go to him. He comes to you. That's the carpenter and the blacksmith. Overseer takes charge to all the stockmen. So he come down to the shop and brought the keys down to open it. There was no blacksmith there. And he said, "Now, Fred, I'll show you that job that I want you to do, very particular." And it's a broken bloomin' spindle out of a bloomin' circular saw. Some new chum there didn't know that there are left-hand threads see, on them, on the way you put the saw on. And this new chum fella must have, it's winter time, and he was trying the right-hand way and he couldn't get it, and he got the engine spanner and put it on, and I got a hammer in and bloomin' hit the handle and broke it off at the butt of the thread where the saw goes on.
Oh dear.
Snapped it off cold morning, see? That settled that because that put the station out of action for a lot of wood, you see, because there's officers, there's placed shearers, cooks, the house cooks down cooking for the boss and that, and the musterers cook beside the engine, like at the shed for the shearing. And when I saw it, I said, "No," I said, "I can't do that." I said, "That's not a blacksmith job." I said, "Blacksmith can't do that." I said, "That has to be made by a lathe." And but he said, "You can make it, though." He had that much faith in me and him. I said, "Why me?" I said, "Why do you pick me to make it? And I've got nothing to make it with. You give me something to make it with, I'll have a go." And he said, "You got me beat there." He says, but he says, "Fred," he says, "if you'll only try," he said, "I know you can make it." And I said,
"Give me the machines and I'll do it for you."
Yeah. But anyhow, I cornered him there, and we forgot it for a day or two. And of course, I'm thinking this out. And see, I got to put him out somehow or other. But first of all, I told him, I said, "Now look, it's the only way you can get out of that." I said, "I'll cut you a bit of shafting off. It's made out of the shearing shafting, you know, that's the size. See, and it's Moffat Virtue. Moffat Virtue, the shearing machine maker. That's his wood cutting turnout too, see? And I said, "I'll cut you a length of shaft." We had plenty there where we pulled it down and chucked them out. There was plenty up in the loft there. And then and the bearings and everything, headgear, is all up there. And we put new listers in it in the shed. And I said, you ring Walter Hook up in Walgett. I said, he'll have the war was on, you see. And I said, he'll have a lathe. So he rang Walter Hook up. Walter Hook said, no, he says, I wouldn't take that job on. He says, because the one I'm using, he says, been through a fire. He says, my good, when the military took it away, the war was on. They took it from him.
Yeah, talking about the war, did the war pull many people out of here? Were there many of the young men go away from here?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
a lot. Me.
Anyway, finish this up.
I wanted to go and they wouldn't let me. Because I was too handy. They said, no, he said, we want him because he's a handy man.
Right.
And because I could turn my hands to anything, you know, see. There isn't a job that'd been offered in me, and that's the only one that I said I couldn't do, making that.
How did they end up? Who fixed it?
I did.
Yeah, tell us.
I finished up doing it, and I made a good job of it.
How did you do it? Tell us how you done it.
I'll tell you directly, that's coming.
Yeah, right.
I thought out a way when I found out he was jammed. I said, well, what every man likes yourself, you're a builder and one thing you like that, you think things out at night and one thing when you're in bed. And I worked out a way and I said, I think I might be able to do it. I'll give it a try. So in the morning, I'm going down with the musterers. See, I'm going to where they get the orders. 7 o'clock in the morning, you get your orders. But as I told you before, the blacksmith and carpenter don't go near him. He comes to you, the manager himself. The overseer takes charge of all the stockmen. And so he seen me coming with a muster. He said, this man's going to roll his swag. He's going to go because I'm only there a few days. When he seen me with the musterers. And anyhow, I go down and said, good morning, Reece, what's wrong with you? I said, nothing much wrong with me, but I come down to see about that blooming spindle. He laughed. He said, there you are. He said, I told you could make it. He pointed at me straight away. I said, hold on. I said, it's not made. I'm only going to give it a trial. That's all I want. He said, I know you'll make it. And I said, all right. Oh, he said, all right. He said, you want a man? And I said, yes. You give me a man and I'll give it a trial. I've got my tools made already, see? He never seen them. He never seen me making them. And because he had to be there. He came out a terrible good bench in the shop. A proper saw bench, you know, milling timber. Steel one. Me and the old German blacksmith, oh, he's a beautiful blacksmith. He one of them fellas like a gorilla, you know, big wide-shouldered, little short fella, and strong as a blooming lion. And he's been there for years.
What was his name? Can you remember his name?
Fred Cobb.
Fred Cobb.
Fred Cobb was his name. We used to all call him Jim. Jim Cobb. But Fred Cobb was his proper name. But anyhow, he said to me, he said, Fred, what about me and you? They'd already milled some timber. They built a new kitchen, you see, at the station. And they brought them a blooming bench in and they chucked it outside the blacksmith shop, see? The blooming thing be only laying there. He said, come on, we'll put it, give me a hand, we'll put it in the shop. It's a heavy blooming thing, you know. And I said, I'll give you a hand, Jim. I said, we'll soon put that in. I was young and strong. So I had a good bench in there, see? But this is years after me and him was working together, though. And old Harry Cook, you know him, he died here. Yeah. Harry Cook, he used to strike for me. In fact, I got him the job. He had been working on Bangor before they knew him, yes. He was a good worker. And him and Artie Bruce used to work together digging here. And he went over to Bangor to get a job. He got a job on Bangor. Yeah, he was working on Bangor for a good bit. And he came over and he worked with Bruce. And he went back and he got a job on Mudderman. He was working for Smithy.
Oh, yes, yeah.
He working on Mudderman. It only a short job, and he used to come over and talk to me on account of knowing me when he'd come over to the station for the mail. Because Bangerton, you've been over there?
Yes.
In there you can see one from the other.
Yeah.
One's on one side of the river, one's on the other. And anyhow, he said to me, I'll be going away. He said, in such and such a day, Fred. He said, well, I said, you might get a job here striking for me. I said, I want a striker. Well, I said, I'll see the boss in the morning. Good. He said, I'll take it. He said, it'll suit me. And he was a good worker too, and a very strong man too. And, oh yes, he said, give him a job, Fred. You put him on straight away. He said, don't wait for me. He's put him on. And anyhow, he gave me Harry for to make the spindle. So I made a special handle for it because you couldn't interfere with the shaft unless you cut it, unless you made a place for it and then cut it off after. But I just made a special handle for it, not to interfere with the main shaft. And I put a box down for him to sit on, and he just turned like that. I didn't know whether he had to turn like that or just turn steady and cut just the same my tools, you know.
Right.
Because his nibs are there, the boss is there. I only cut. I cut Nixon, it's like, you see. You know, now he's turned, I cut a little narrow groove in, and I had my thermometer there to get the depth that I wanted to cut it. I had it alongside of me, so I put it on now and again, and I got to get to the right thickness. And I went to the old shaft where the saw goes on. And then I had another one made there. I made them all out of files, you know, and I tempered them very hard. Well, they're just as hard as they were when they were files, you see. And of course they had no trouble of cutting. Only thing I had to look out for to see that they cut straight, with the right depth all around. See, and then I had the other one that left ridges, you see, after I cut the first lot, right back to the butt end. And then I had another tool then to take the ridges out. So as soon as he seen that tool cutting, he said, there you are. He said, now you wouldn't believe me, Reece. He said, I told you that you could make it. Yeah. I said, it's not made. I've only just started it. But he said, it's made. He said, I can see that it's made. So it took me a fortnight. You see, at the other end, I had to cut a keyway, 9 inches long, and dovetail it, and he reckoned that was hard. He never seen me doing that. He was away. He never come back anymore after he seen me start. And only when he come again it was finished. And he said, my, what I'd like to see now, you cut that bloomin' keyway out. Well, I said, now that's the easiest job, that is. That was no trouble at all, because I had the old key out of the broken business. I had the key already. I just put it on there, and I just scratched a mark with a sharp tool, and then I put it under the drill, and I drill all little holes along it, put my little sharp chisel into it, and cut that right out, and the thing was made. Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah, so I made a good job of it, and I can tell you this, that I surprised myself. I didn't think I could make a job so good. Yeah. It's been there for 30 years.
Right.
The last I seen it was chucked out in the rubbish dump, and I come back here and I told Audrey, I said, when they were making puddlers here first, I went over there to ask the boss see if I could go to the rubbish dump to get some rubbish to make a puddler.
How did you go about doing that? How did you make a puddler?
Oh, well, I just can't explain it to you. They're better ones now than they were before.
Were they?
You've seen puddlers.
Yeah, I know. You use a steel mesh. What did you use instead of the steel mesh?
They were dry puddlers those days, Fred, weren't they?
Dry ones, yeah.
Yeah, no water.
Yeah.
No water.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're like start. Oh, what do you call them? Was one of them all over long. Him and Arthur Molyneux, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, they started it. But anyhow, the boss told me, "See, you know what the rubbish dump is. Reece is better than I do. You go out and help yourself." So I went out to the rubbish dump. Here's me bloomin', what do you call it? Bloomin' saw bench out, they chucked away.
Oh.
And another one from Muckrawall.
Did you salvage it back again?
Hmm?
Did you salvage it? Or did you leave it there?
Oh no, but I come back then and I told Hodges.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And
He
got it out.
he just started these trams here,
Right.
at that time. And he could do with one of them things to
Right.
cut wood for that fireplace there, see?
Right.
For the people that used to live here. And anyhow, I told him, and I said, "Well," he said, "Do you think they'd give it to me?" Well, of course they would. They'd chucked away.
Mm.
I said, "Two of them there, but the one I made is gone. The other one was there. He got it up there, killing yard now.
Not much goes to waste.
Eh?
Not much goes to waste over there. I imagine in those days even less.
Oh no. Yes, he's got it up at the killing yard now.
Okay.
Looking to see what.
What do you think of the modern day tools and machines?
Oh, beautiful.
Aren't they?
I wish I was the man to handle them a lot. I'd have this country all drought proof. I'd have water all over the country. They're crying about the drought. They don't try to put the water in the country. They let the water run away.
Right. Yeah.
Oh no, the old blackfellow would do better than that. Yeah.
You see a lot of wastage in town of water, don't you? Here in town you see a lot of water wasted.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was a bit like gold in the old days. You'd
Yeah.
you make use of every little bit you had.
Yeah.
When did you first come to the town?
This town.
To live here, yeah.
To live here?
Mm.
Well, I come in 58.
58. It's
No,
changed
it's-
quite a bit since then, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what it was
When I
like
come
when you
here
came
in 58, there's only one store,
Yeah.
Dawson's store up
Dawson's,
there.
yeah. Is that the one they've just knocked down?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they ever knocked it down.
Or part of it, didn't they?
They
Yeah.
knocked part of it down. Now, you couldn't buy a rope, you couldn't buy a pick, or you couldn't buy a shovel, because there were that few here
Mm.
that they had their old picks and shovels. For years they've had them, and they still had them. They didn't want any new ones.
Mm.
There was nobody new here to buy anything. Only me when I came here. But I had some friends in Walgett that used to go to the ground, see?
Right.
And
Right.
they had some, and I borrowed some off of them. And then, do you know, when they started that buffalo there,
Right, right.
there wasn't enough men on the field
Mm.
to start the buffalo lodge.
Wasn't there?
No. They come to me, I was working for Hodge, I was looking after showcase here. When he first come here, he come here back the same time as me.
This is about in 58, is it? Yeah.
I was here in 58,
Yeah.
he might have come here 12 months after.
Right.
It might have been 2 years, but I think about 12 months.
Mm.
But anyhow, he gave me a job looking after the showcase here. I was the first man he sort of took up with. He was a stranger too, you see. He come from Parks. And as I tell you couldn't buy pick shovels or ropes or anything like that. No mining tools at all. So I got some from Bangor, as I tell you, from Walgett, from my friends that used to go to the ground, and they wasn't using them, and I took them back when I could buy some more, when I bought some, when they got them in the town here. And so, and they couldn't start that, because they was two men short.
2 men. Hmm. How many did they need?
Eh?
How many men did they need?
Either 13 or 14, I can't remember rightly. When they couldn't get them. Well, they come to me and argued and asked us, and we joined them. That's how they started. Yeah. We out of it now. Well, I'm out of it now because they wouldn't come over there to fetch me. I had no motor car, and I'm over there half a mile away from here.
Did you live on the field, did you?
Yes, I've been there.
Right. Well, that's the Newtown
If you
field, is it?
Newtown diggings here.
Right.
Well, if you follow them straight across there,
Right.
and you get to the other end, you're right at my house.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right on the
Yeah,
edge of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay there for?
I've been there I sold a good while back. I sold it to a friend of mine that used to come here from Tamworth. He bought it, and he owns it now. And he got it rented, I think, to somebody that he knows. Oh, some people that I know too. I think they ain't yet. I can't think of their names.
What do you think of the town now?
Oh, it's going ahead to Billio.
Do you think it's been spoilt? A lot of people say that Lightning Ridge is spoilt. Do you think so?
Spoilt?
Hmm.
In what way?
Oh, I don't know. All the big shops and the big new developments. Do you think that's good?
No. We can do with the shops. They're all making it
It's
pay.
not necessarily my idea, but I think a lot of people do. A lot of the old miners feel that the town has been spoilt.
Yeah, well, they're bloody well wrong. I think because I think they're doing all right. I don't see anybody closing up shop.
No.
They seem to be doing all right. There are plenty of people and they get plenty of money. They're getting it for nothing.
Well, this is a...
Yeah. Yeah.
And after all, we've got to have someone to sell the opal to, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Too right.
It's an interesting town.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear your old stories about it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the first aeroplane?
I
Right
can
here.
tell you all about the first airplane. Was here. There was races on here,
Mm-hmm.
and he used to pull up in the street here. He was using the street.
Oh,
here.
lives the street as a runway, Marilla Street.
Yeah, there was no aerodrome here.
Right.
Not like came here now. Since I come here, they made the aerodrome down there. But this is a good many years ago. He came up from Sydney and the races. He's taking people up and he's making a quid or two. I think he was a bit of a drunker too.
What sort of an airplane was it? Was it one of those open ones?
It was a small one, but it sold many years ago.
Right, oh, you wouldn't remember.
It was a good many years ago.
And was the Tree of Knowledge here then?
Eh?
Was the Tree of Knowledge here? Have you heard? I've heard talk of the Tree of Knowledge.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that would have been in the way, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you something about the tree. Tree of Knowledge, I know a bit about that.
Mm-hmm.
Will this be heard? This be heard again, won't it?
Oh, yeah.
What I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Well, a man was using it for a toilet, you think,
Right.
and drunk, of course,
Right.
because the Tree of Knowledge was just out in front of the
Outside
pub.
of the pub, right?
And they used to have the street light on that old tree. But anyhow, old Mrs. Owen from here going up there and her daughter, Mrs. Oh, I can't think of her name now. They first got that block out here belonging to O'Brien. And anyhow, this drunk, he came out there, he used the tree for a toilet, see? And they walking along going up to get a beer. Mother and daughter, and they never noticed him for a good while. The mother saw it first. And she said, "Come on, Jesse, come on, don't look, Jesse, don't look, Jesse, come on." And away they went to the pub. But anyhow, the old Tree of Knowledge, that's one thing that it found out about it, was the toilet as well as a street light post. Yeah.
They called it the Tree of Knowledge because the miners used to look at their opal there, did they?
Tree of Knowledge, well, the Tree of Knowledge because it is out and everybody could see it.
Oh, I see.
See, that's why I call it the Tree of Knowledge.
And what happened to it? They got ploughed down with
Well, they pull it down when they get the power here. They pull it down because it's in the road.
In the way, I see, yeah. You hear lots of stories about how it came down.
The last we was up there where that bloke mixed up cement up here.
Mm-hmm.
It was there, they pulled it down and drug it up there and
Down
took
the
it
way.
down. Way there, I suppose somebody burned it, I suppose, to finish.
Right.
Yeah, that's the Tree of Knowledge. Yeah, come on, Jesse, come on, don't look, don't look.
Of course, the only light would have been lighting him up well and truly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Ya go imaleña do ibainga mayo na wana bongela. Ya go imaleña do ibainga mayo na wana bongela. Ya goi malinya thoi bai nga mayo na wana bongela. Look around, see if the boy's looking. Goi malinya thoi bai nga mayo na wana bongela. Ya gani mangana ya do ba maruba. Ya gani mangana ya do ba maruba. Ya gani mangana ya do ba maruba. Angi mangaya tawele agim bindi gumbode. Angi mangaya tawele agim bindi gumbode. Angi mangaya tawele agim bindi gumbode. Yagandi mangana ya do baba maruba. Yagandi mangana ya do baba maruba.